So we've got a lot to talk about today, including this field hearing, Willie, which, wow, I mean, they were really out to make a point, but I don't know, wasting a lot of time and money.
Yeah, you have congressmen and women from Ohio and Georgia and other places suddenly deeply concerned about crime in New York City when it happens to be the district attorney is taking on their guy, Donald Trump. Congress was back in session yesterday after a 2-week recess, but instead of being up on Capitol Hill, the Republican-led House Judiciary Committee took its work on the road for a field hearing, as they're calling it, in New York City. In Manhattan, Republican lawmakers looked to discredit the district attorney prosecuting former President Trump by blaming him for a post-pandemic spike in crime. This even as data shows a decrease in crime in New York since DA Alvin Bragg took office last year. During the hearing titled Victims of Violent Crime in Manhattan, Republicans brought in several witnesses personally affected by violence who had varying degrees of grievance toward the Democratic Party. Democrats, meanwhile, accused Republicans of using their committee power to defend former President Trump.
For the district attorney, justice isn't blind. It's about looking for opportunities to advance a political agenda, a radical political agenda.
It is shameful that the Republicans of this committee would use the pretext of violent crime as an excuse to play tourist in New York and bully the district attorney.
Mr. Bragg, I hope you're watching. I hope you're watching today, sir. You're a disgrace. You're a danger to this country.
This isn't governance. It's not working for the American people. It's grandstanding. It's a stunt. Just look at all the cameras here.
This, unfortunately, is what we get in Joe Biden's America and Alvin Bragg's New York City.
The Republican witnesses who have used their time to criticize District Attorney Bragg have served as props in a MAGA Broadway production.
I would just ask, was it former President Trump, Ms. Brame, that killed your son?
No.
You tried to get Trump out. You couldn't get him out. Let's face reality. You tried. The dossier was a fake.
The purpose of this hearing is to cover up for what they know to be an inappropriate investigation. Now, I look forward, many of you are in New York City. No, not right now, because I only have 20 seconds. I'm sorry. But I do want to
Don't insult my intelligence. You're not.
Hang on. The gentleman's time.
I'm not insulting
Okay, you're trying to insult me like I'm not aware of what's going on here.
Thank you.
Okay? I'm fully aware of what's going on here.
Gentleman, I will suspend. Gentleman gets another 15 seconds.
Thank you.
That's why I walked away from the plantation of the Democratic Party.
Congressman Goldman, who you saw right there, we're going to talk to on our show in just a moment. So, Mara, it went on like that for a long time. I mean, some of these people, most of the people were legitimate victims of crime in New York City. But the idea that on your first day back from this break to have Jim Jordan and congressmen from California and Texas coming here, clearly, transparently, to put a dent into Alvin Bragg as he prosecutes Donald Trump.
Well, I don't think it was very effective. I mean, one of the strange things, there was no photo op for them. So they were in New York, but they could have been in any room, anywhere in the country, in this tiny federal space. That was strange. But also, it's just disgusting to see lawmakers of any party exploiting the grief of cherry-picked, hand-picked individual victims of crime and their family members for their own political purposes. There's something extremely disgusting about that. And of course, we know, just like any other population, victims of crime have all kinds of different political views. And so these were obviously cherry-picked. And then, of course, you have the hypocrisy because, there are places like Columbus, Ohio that actually where Jim Jordan is from that have higher rates of crime than New York City.
That's a great point. And, when you look at what is happening across the country, I would love to see a field hearing across America and a national conversation on mass shootings. I mean, if we really want to talk about crime and what is the leading cause of death in the nation's children, then let's have a hearing. But no, this was all about Trump again and Jim Jordan's addiction, Gene Robinson, to Donald Trump and to making some sort of show, circus, gesture politically.
Yeah, it was a travesty, a sham, a circus, and as Mara said, it was not particularly effective because it could have been a basement committee hearing room on Capitol Hill for all the visuals we got from it. It was, it's ridiculous, actually. I don't think it had any particular impact on Alvin Bragg. And it's these stunts basically are what this House majority can do, right? I mean, it's not clear, for example, that they can do the responsible thing and raise the debt ceiling, even if they want to, because there's such a tiny majority and they can't agree on a lot of things, but they can agree on bashing Alvin Bragg and, for some reason, George Soros, and that's their play. That's all they got.
It's about political priorities here. I mean, the Congress does occasionally take the field trips. They did one to the border because they think immigration is significant and a way to attack the Biden administration. Here in New York City, where it's obviously an attempt to defend Donald Trump by going after Alvin Bragg, and also the State Attorney General Letitia James, who has led the civil suit against Trump. And we have seen during the course of this, Trump relentlessly bashing the prosecutors involved on Truth Social as this trial begins to there. This is something where it's about Republicans here, Mika, to your point about mass shootings, about the debt ceiling. We finally heard a little bit from Speaker McCarthy about that yesterday. But what the Republican Party is banking on, what they think their voters want to hear, is defending Donald Trump, talking about Hunter Biden, horror stories that other cable networks can pick up, and instead of doing the work of the American people. It's a political stunt in theater and a waste of taxpayers' money.
Yeah, and there's two issues right now that are boiling over. Mass shootings being like I said, an epidemic, but also our children are scared to go to school. People are scared to go to events. And then the issue of abortion, which we'll be getting to. But and we have a lot of examples, and even a guest today will show how these laws and these changes and the overturning of Roe is impacting the health of women across America, Republican or Democrat. It is impacting their health.